Hello, hello, super women. I am coming to you with more mixed emotions than I have had in a while. I'm feeling it. My clients are feeling it. And I just wanted to take a second to acknowledge that. So I have excitement and overwhelm headed into my women's retreat. I think this is my eighth or ninth women's retreat, and I feel I've come to love this and look forward to this as such an amazing part, such a turning point for me and my clients, because how we come into these retreats and how we feel leaving them, the awareness that we have leaving them, they always say it's like years of therapy in a weekend. And I'm going to get to why in a second and how we accelerate our healing in today's podcast. But there's mixed emotions, okay? So I've had personal stuff going on. We have the political stuff going on. And I also know that some of that is our privilege from being in North America and not having to be aware of, like, being able to remain ignorant about the realities of the world and how things work. And this is now more than ever why I know my work is important for us, important for our families, important for generations to come. Because for the past 2 decades, I've been helping women to find fulfillment, their pleasure. Okay. And this is with their health, for them to feel good in their bodies on the cellular level, with sex, dealing with their shame, dealing with the walls and barriers that they have up and all these beliefs. Because what makes them amazing and successful at their career, those traits, those same super traits, leave them exhausted in sexless relationships, in relationships where they don't feel met. And if you haven't, I want you to head to the show notes right now. I have a free super trait quiz. It will take you 3 or 4 minutes. You're going to get emails from me for the next 11 days after you fill out this quiz. And it's going to help you connect some of the dots, how the traits you've been praised for, your loyalty, your empathy, your hard work, are the same traits that are taking you further away, disconnecting you from the relationship that you actually want. They're leaving you resentful, exhausted, depressed, overwhelmed, health issues, considering an affair, being like, I have more and more super women that they're just choosing to be single, which is amazing. And I love that for them. But they want to connect. They want a blueprint for how to have a healthy relationship that doesn't extract, that doesn't take from them. And today I want to break down the habits of the most well-loved, well-fucked women that I know. The happiest, the healthiest, the most fulfilled, they radiate. And that's what I want to share with you today. But I want you to know, I am all for teaching women how to have better sex, breaking down those barriers so we can truly open and relax and be cared for, teaching you how to have the most pleasure, give the most pleasure in and out of the bedroom. But what I am personally done with is letting my work be used as a tool to further gaslight women, okay? Where it's like they do so much, they give so much, they can contribute so much to the relationship, and they are not being met. Their partners give the bare minimum. And sometimes they give above the bare minimum, but they're not met at all in the ways that they need to be to feel seen and relaxed and turned on and desired. But what I don't want is my work accessed by women with super traits where they are like, they're giving more, they're bending over backwards to do more for their partner. Okay? Because a lot of times when we have super traits, it's not about giving more, it's about being met. About being met in a pleasure-centered relationship. And that's what I'm teaching now. Because if you have super traits and you have super traits that you don't know that you had, Your therapist doesn't know that you had. The influencers that you follow about nervous system healing and sex tips and communication tips, if they are not looked at through a super trait lens, you are setting yourself up for failure because you are always giving more than you get. Okay. And energetically, this does not work. This is why when we look at this statistically, okay, and I mean this, the truth is going to set you free. It's going to piss you off. It pissed me off. I couldn't believe it. And I actually put my head in the sand and denied this for years. When we look statistically speaking, and I'm going to say this first because I need you to hear this first. This doesn't mean leave. This doesn't mean get a divorce. We need to know the truth of the situation if we are truly going to heal it. Because we know, right, if your engine is seized and somebody's trying to fix your tire, it's not going to fucking work. And this is why you have spent years, thousands of dollars, endless time pouring into yourself, pretzeling yourself. And where's it gotten you? Sicker, lonelier, more exhausted, more resentful, more disconnected than ever. So, the truths that I want to talk to you about today are the habits of the most well loved and well fucked women that I know, and how you can become one of them. And you don't need to leave to start healing, but you do need to acknowledge the truth. And when we see the actual problem, that's when we can take steps to fix it. Okay, so the first habit of the most well loved, well fucked women that I know is they feel. Okay. I spend so much time on this in my groups that I get a little pushback. I get looked at with confusion sometimes. And even when we're hitting home this concept for my 8-week pleasure centered relationship intensive with my year-long mastermind, it's amazing how our default is to not feel our own emotions. We feel everyone else's in the room and ours is secondary, or ours bubbles up, but we quickly shove it back down to center ourselves around someone else. That could be our children's discomfort. It could be our partners. Well loved, well fucked women actually feel. They're in their bodies. They're magnetic. They're not numb. They don't power through. They don't shrink their desires. They feel. And I've been there, our super trait conditioning, how we've been conditioned in corporate, how we've been conditioned with getting professional degrees in an operating room. It's we don't feel. We are robots. We shut down and we get the job done. And that's what we're paid to do. Okay. And once again, makes you amazing in your career. That is the super trait of hard work. And it is probably one of your super traits. Okay. And hard work means you don't quit. You push through. You give everything that you've got. In career, this makes you successful because you can outwork anyone. When we leave a job, they need to replace us with 2 to 3 people. But in a relationship, this makes you invisible. Okay. It's helped you survive because you're the strong one. You're the good girl. You avoid rejection by exceeding expectations. You kind of like you control the outcome through effort. So it gives you career success. But what it looks like is you work so hard for crumbs of connection in relationship. And this could be like romantic relationships, friendships, with our kids, with our family. We work hard at sex. So we perform sex instead of truly knowing how to receive pleasure. We carry the relationship while our partner coasts. So if we were to look at everything that a relationship needs, that's what a pleasure-centered relationship is. Like everything that a relationship needs to function, you are doing the overwhelming majority of the work. So well-loved, well-fucked women actually feel. And I'm here to tell you, it means that we don't just feel the good feelings. It means we feel the hard ones too. Because right now, that dial, those pleasure centers in your brain are off. And when we turn them back on, it means that we feel. And we feel some stuff that we've been repressing for maybe decades. But when we have the tools to do so, when we know that feeling doesn't make us bad or wrong or weak, it actually makes us realize how much support we have around us, how many people truly are willing to help. And a lot of superwomen, when they finally take off that cape and they let their partners help, their men are happy to step up. And again, that is not always the case, um, but we help support you through that too. I have a client currently leaving an abusive marriage. Actually, I have three right now. And to witness them feel through all of it, the grief, the sadness, the moments of peace that they've never had before. And the ironic part is like you think that leaving, right, separation, divorce is hard. I know, like, lots of us, like, I've done it. Lots of you listening have done it. It is not easy. It's one of those, like, high stressful events in your life, but it is beautiful to watch these women feel and process and be in their power. It is so magnetic to see a woman feel. I think that's part of the reason why we're turned off from our feelings and shut down from our feelings, because when we truly feel, people rush in to help us. But instead, if we don't feel and we are serving everyone else, it serves everyone else and not us. And I want to be clear, a pleasure centered relationship means that it is a two-way street, it is mutual. Okay. Two people are allowed feelings. And this is one of the most broken things that I see in women with super traits relationships. She's overly feeling for her partner and her loved ones, and she has completely lost sight of what it's like to feel for herself. And what I was going to say is, ironically, it's these women separating, these women leaving marriages, like, they have a lot more peace than the women fighting to stay in them, which is ironic. And again, I'm not saying that you leave. You don't need to leave to start healing, but you do need to know the truth. And if you want fluff, if you want somebody to cheer you on and it to be rainbows and unicorns and butterflies, go somewhere else. Okay. You can waste more money and more years on that. But if we can learn how to feel, it is going to change the game for you in so many ways. You feel fulfilled, you feel supported, you feel connected because you can feel and you can let people in. And it's easier said than done. But if you take my super trait quiz, I have a free masterclass, The Truth About Why Successful Women Struggle in Sex and Love. Okay, free masterclass. You're going to see why these super traits are interfering with the intimacy that you crave. You're going to connect the dots like you never have before. You're going to leave with language to name what's really been going on, what's really been happening in your relationship, and why it has seemed so elusive and it has seemed so fucking hard. Why you can excel in your career, but in sex and love and connection, it's a fucking struggle or a performance. Or you're just like going through the motions like roommates. You're going to get clarity on why the things you've tried haven't worked. And I'm going to give you the first step to stop repeating the same patterns in love when you have super traits. I don't care if you're single. I don't care if you're partnered, divorced, thinking of it. If you have super traits and you want to have connected relationships in whatever capacity, this masterclass on October 2nd, 1 p.m. Eastern, is for you. Head to the show notes, reserve your spot for free. Habit number 2 of the most well fucked, well loved women that I know is they are their own best lovers. I'm not sure if it's the Disney movies, the patriarchy, but the prince is going to come save us. We sort of have that belief. We have sexual health education, or our lack of sex education is male centered, right? It's penis centered. We think that sex means penis in vagina. Okay. And when we think that sex means penis and vagina, only one third of women reliably orgasm from penetrative penis and vagina sex. Okay, so male centered. We also, if we look at our language, it's like it gives us an orgasm, or a man takes your virginity, right? This is all very male centered. And it was actually one of my first teachers in this space when I had checked off my list of things that I wanted. I had my women's health clinic, I had my dream car, was going to buy a house within that year. It was Mama Gina that had me flip that script where it was like, it's me, the turn on that I feel, the erotic charge, it's my orgasm, it's me. For the first time in my life, I learned to center my pleasure around me. So, what does a woman with super traits do? It's all about pleasing a man. And this is how I saw my work being used through the unhealed super trait lens. So, biologically, physiologically, we should be able to give ourselves the best orgasms ever. And it should not be expected that men are to do this for us. And in some ways, men are exhausted by this, that we are putting our desire, arousal, turn on them when this is something that we need to learn and know how to do ourselves. This is a lot what my foundational program, Pleasure Principles, teaches. And when I've been teaching women self pleasure routines, self pleasure practices, okay, and this isn't just giving yourself orgasms with a vibrator. I don't want us to think that myopic. It's that and. But when we learn to center our pleasure around ourselves and not our partner, or center our pleasure in the relationship, the game changes. And we're magnetic and we're fulfilled and we're having sex that feels amazing. And the ironic part is that we think that we've been sold a lie. We've been sold a lie about single women, that being single, it's like you're a lonely spinster and no one wants you. When in fact, single women poll, they have better and more frequent sex, they're happier, they're more fulfilled, they have better connected friendships. So we've literally been gaslit on this one. And to me, I think the best possible situation to have would be to be in a pleasure centered relationship. The third thing, the third habit of the most well loved and well fucked women that I know is they know their super traits. These women that thrive, okay, single, partnered, poly, doesn't matter. They know how their brilliance, how their empathy, loyalty, hard work, forgiveness, they understand how these traits are amazing and we never ever want to change that. And they especially bring us great career success. But they can be a hindrance in sex, in love, and relationships, and to our health. If you have not taken my super trait quiz, as I said, go to the show notes, take 3 or 4 minutes. Understanding this is like a massive light bulb moment for you. Sign up for my masterclass on October 2nd. It will change your worldview on relationships. The fourth habit is these women choose pleasure. They don't tolerate extraction. Okay? And let's not go into black and white thinking, trauma brain, because you're so exhausted and burnt out and extracted from, truthfully, if you're honest. And this is because systems, like all of them, our work, traditional gender roles, like they are all set up to take from women, right? That's what the invisible workload is. Okay. So she centers her relationships around pleasure, where she is requiring to be met emotionally and erotically. She's requiring to be held and listened to and heard. Okay. And I learned through exploration, dominatrix training, speaking to DOMs, speaking to sex workers. We can't even have pleasure without safety. Safety is the first rule of true erotic play and connection. So without safety, there's no true surrender. So as a clinician, I see women every day who are touch adverse. They are burnt out. They're using numbing behaviors, drinking, binge eating, shopping. And it's not because they don't want sex and connection, but their nervous system doesn't feel safe enough to let go. Okay. Especially when they've given too much, especially when they're burnt out, especially when the pleasure centers in their brain are off. And the fifth habit of the most well fucked, well loved women that I know is they do not do it alone. They are in community. They surround themselves with women on the same path, women that refuse to accept breadcrumbs, who call out the bullshit, who remind them, like, your cape is on, like, we're here. You don't need to carry it alone. And this is why women in my community say that they've never felt so seen and supported by other women. They say that they've never shared so openly. They've shared things with the group and the other women that they haven't said out loud before because that's how safe they feel. And it's part of the healing. Like, you literally can't do this alone. And it's a journey. It's a journey and it's an evolution, and the work isn't done. This isn't a box you check. Okay. Because we're not going to turn around and the world isn't going to be extractive. But when you have the support and you have these women cheering you on and supporting you when life kicks you in the teeth, like, I can't say enough about what that feels like and the safety that gives you. So if this is you, if this speaks to you, I'm giving you two things to do. Take the super trait quiz in the show notes. It's going to show you which trait is keeping you exhausted, going to give you tips on what to do next. It's going to help you see how these super traits have really been ruling your life, intimately and otherwise. And then the second thing that I want you to do is head to the show notes and register for the Super Trait Masterclass. The truth about why high achieving women struggle in sex and love. Okay, I'm going to teach you to recognize this pattern so that you can begin to see why you don't have the relationships and orgasms and connection that you've been craving. And you deserve more than just sex on vacation, breadcrumbs for intimacy. You deserve to be the well fucked and well loved woman. You just need to be shown the right framework for how to get there.